And we are back again. Well, hello there, trainers. Greetings, KuroBlitz here. Welcome back to another Pokemon anime video. Because this is what I do, I suppose. Let's talk about, some more, moments of the Ash era that, are very personal to me. I feel like, the other video from, 2 weeks ago was, the Orange Islands video. Um, so today, as the video is being uploaded, I will be scheduled for the 28th of November. So it's like 11 years after Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out on Europe. 11 years. Damn. And I played Ruby 22 ago. Jesus. Hoenn, right? Hoenn. I feel like now Pokemon TV is broadcasting Advanced Generation, and I feel like people really need to, watch this show. A lot of Pokemon fans started with, late DP, early BW. Not really just the online minority. Like, a lot of people really started that, and, they watched Pokemon TV back then because of auras, and they saw Hoenn in this bingy manner. Like, people have watched Hoenn on a bingy manner, or they didn't watch it at all. They saw, like, reviews or AMVs, and they tell people, oh, we watched Hoenn. No, you didn't. You probably saw Kanto because it's 80 episodes, and you skipped Orange, Johto, Hoenn, and Battle Frontier, and you went straight to Diamond and Pearl. A lot of people never really watched Hoenn. It's very, very clear a lot of people did not watch this Advanced Generation. And in retroactively, it kind of makes it the hidden gem of the Pokemon anime. Like, I feel like people were not around back then, like on forums, seeing people very angry and happy, depending on where boat you were in, about Misty leaving, Like, because before Diamond and Pearl, like, perfected the formula and Journeys reinvented it, like, there was a series that kind of did both, and it was forgotten along the way. It was forgotten with time, and it was, Hoenn and Battle Frontier. It was the Advanced Generation. Because Advanced Generation wasn't flashy, and it wasn't anyone's favorite, but it was the foundation for modern Pokemon storytelling. It was when the show redefined what the anime could be, Like, a lot of the things that the show has nowadays, like a lot of the things that the show is nowadays, it's thanks to this. The female protagonist, having, a co-lead position, and now we have an actual female protagonist, having both story arcs go hand in hand, giving the third companion actually something to, do, like they perfected Brock's role. Like, Brock's role in DP is perfected by him being in Hoenn in some way, shape, or form. And that's what allowed for Silent, Clement, Kiawe, and Go later on. Even Roy and Alton Horizons in some way. Like, they had to reinvent Pokemon, right? Because if you really think about it, like, they needed to have Ash start anew after, the whole Kanto Johto situation, right? And this is a Ash that, doesn't travel with Misty, and doesn't have Gary, as the dangling fruit above him to pester him. So it kind of makes this like a breather. Like, Ash having no rivals besides his own ego is actually great, because it allows for Ash to, just be himself. Like, he doesn't have to be a rival or an inspiration or a mentor. Like, he doesn't really teach May. He doesn't, like, I don't get this idea where Ash is a mentor to May. He's not. Ash does not mentor May. May learns from him. Like, May absorbs Ash like a sponge. Ash doesn't stop his way to teach her. He supports her, he's his friend, but he doesn't teach her, directly. And all of this group, like the AG group, you can separate two people and, you can get, like, amazing dynamics. Ash and Max, Brock and Max, May and Max, May and Brock. Shopping episode will be, like, amazing. May and Ash. Like, Ash and Brock. Like, this is the show that Ash and Brock actually fight each other and with each other. Like, it's really great, realistically speaking. And they separate the starters for an actual focus. Granted, Mudkip Marshtomp gets the short end of the stick, but whatever. But it's like, they reinvent this, like, you know, Pikachu, like in the first episode we got, you know, Pikachu being sick, whatever. It's not really a reset, it's just, you know, like a skirmish with Team Rocket. They even use the Reggie OST for that one. It's really, really cool. I wish that Ash, May, and Max were alone longer than just, you know, the 1 or 2 episodes. Because Brock returns, Ash gets Tailo, whatever. I feel like Brock should have been there in Rustboro, like in episode 15. Like, maybe be with Roxanne in the trainer school or whatever, you know. Let Ash and the others be without Brock for a while. Or, you know, personally, headcanon-wise, I feel like you could have used Tracy. I feel like you could have used Tracy, because you still travel through an archipelago, like the Orange Islands, and you would allow for Tracy in the Battle Frontier to properly explore the mainland of the Kanto region. I feel like Brock could have not been in AG. Even to the point where he gets Mudkip in episode 25, I feel like in episode 13 he gets Lotad. Lotad was more of like his starter because it actually fully evolves. And then it's later boxed, unfortunately. I don't know how to really feel about that. But yeah, you know, this was the show that allowed for, you know, the rise of, you know, the second female character. And, you know, it was a show that, at least to me, because Ash was, you know, more... He was not de-aged, because you can actually feel, you know, how he's calmer, he's wiser, he's more reflective, you know? And with May having the subsystem in Pokemon contests, like, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that the reason why they like contests, it's because of the anime. It's not, like, the games are okay as a minigame, but the anime reshaped how contests perform and look, and how they operate. Like, it was the anime. When people want to say, I would like to be Pokemon coordinator, it's the anime. The anime is what gives you, like, you don't see people saying, I want to be a Poke athlete. No, you don't see that. Like, contests, they gave a lot of depth and a world beyond battling. It's like, besides just progression through trophies and shit, like, contests allowed for art, expression, and identity. Like, May is the one that gets the rivals. May is the one that gets the rivals. May basically, they combined Brandon and Wally, and they merged them to make Drew. They give May, you know, a pesky rival in Harley that, you know, really pushed her to the brink. It's amazing. Even May herself gets a Tobias moment before Ash does, with Soledad. Because Richie and Harrison defeat Ash, but, you know, they don't win the leagues. Tyson defeats Ash and wins the league. I feel like people fail to realize that Ash loses the Hoenn League by only using his team. He doesn't get reserves. So, by Generation 3, if Ash loses to the league winner, by Generation 3, Ash could have already won a regional league. That's why he does the quote-unquote post-game with, you know, the Battle Frontier, that are Elite 4 level, right? So they are beyond a league conference winner in some way, shape, or form. Some are stronger than the others. You cannot really compare Brandon to Lucy. But yeah, like, and I feel like they maybe thought about getting rid of Ash by that end, you know, being the comeback kid in the Kanto region, and the Nintendo DS was very high market towards a female demographic, and there's only Dawn in the original DP poster. Like, if Ash was only a protagonist for, you know, like 9 years, I feel like he would have been fine. Like, people say he should have ended in DP because of Paul. It's because of Paul. If there was no Paul, people would have not said he should have ended in DP. Also, he should have ended in DP. By what? By losing to Tobias? Is that how you want for him to end? At least in AG, he loses the league, but he wins the Battle Frontier. At, like, the league not being the end point was a saving grace. Like, Diamond and Pearl, the games being postponed 1 year in development, it was like a saving grace for the anime. Because Ash gets a redemption, and May gets a second shot at contests, and she defeats Drew. Dawn doesn't get that with Zoe. She doesn't. Like, she doesn't. And like, I feel like the Pokemon, like, even like Ash, like, May's Pokemon are fine, you know. Beautifly, they did with Beautifly what they didn't do with Ash's Butterfree. Skitty, Munchlax, and Eevee are fine, you know. 3 normal types in their own unique ways. Great way to homage May being, you know, Norman's daughter. Bulbasaur and Squirtle is where I'm very flimsy on because they are very marketing-wise. Bulbasaur gets ditched, unfortunately, and Squirtle feels like an early Journeysmon. Like, that Squirtle had a lot of power for a baby. He defeated a Flygon. At points it feels like Squirtle was stronger than Ash's. Like, Maze was stronger than Ash's. Like, I don't know how to feel about that. Broxar, whatever, he brings Fortress back. It's like, As for Ash's, well, A-Bomb, great transition. Torkoal needed more wins, and Glalie needed more fights. That's it. Torkoal was a Gen 3 mon without Drought. Poor Torkoal. But I like Torkoal, he's cool. Glalie, I feel like people fail to realize one thing. Like, Ash was teaching Snow Snorunt how to use Ice Beam in a tropical region. It's like going against home advantage. And he did it. And then he defeated Charizard in the league, which is crazy. But like, again, Torkoal needed more wins, Glalie needed more fights. But Corphish, Swallow, and Sceptile, they were carrying that. They were carrying that team, bro. Like, yes, Trico has no grass moves against Roxanne. Yes, he uses Pound against Blaziken in the end. But they were treating Ash and May as equals, you know, at the very end. Ash doesn't really have a final fight with, you know, the other female leads. Like, he doesn't. And even in Journeys, he doesn't get a final fight with Go. Like, at all. He doesn't. It's crazy to me. Like, with Go and Dawn, it's crazier because they are, you know, the dual protagonists according to the Japanese, you know, nomenclature or whatever the fuck. But yeah, you know, I feel like this is also when Team Rocket starts having like a second purpose because yes, they are there, yes, they are, but you know, Jesse does contests, James gets a lot of, you know, great emotional and character-driven episodes. Poor Chimecho. I don't like Mime Jr. I'm sorry. Like that was like you know, the fumble of the century and the decade and the millennia, and they were all starting in 2005, by the way. But yeah. They, how do I even phrase this? For Team Rocket, it's very clear that the first year of Advanced Generation, because AG had no director or composition writer, because Shudo had left, you know, mid-Master Quest, and then Team Iguchi until, you know, DP. They basically had no one on the helm. But the show was still consistent, unlike Journeys. But yeah, and Ash was still charismatic and had a character. So, when it comes to Advanced Generation, there's that. And even the movies, the only problem is the Deoxys movie not being a Brock movie. Because every other guy has, but again, that's like a Brock problem, but every other character, they have like a whole movie for themselves in some way, shape, or form. But I really like it, you know, like Ash was more tactical, his skills were improving and evolving, and you know, the Pokemon were more balanced because there was no type repeats. Like, there was like an actual inspiration. Like, this show was truly advancing, you know? It was, Pokemon was being more serialized with this saga, and also more emotional because you actually see the female character go through shit, and it was also competitive. It was all of this at once. Now, why is it overlooked? Like, why is this masterpiece kinda underrated? Like, it doesn't have like a hype factor because it was not in the online era. Like, it was internet, but you know, subs took very long, between, you know, 6 weeks to 3 months. And the problem is, it's the placing. It's the placement of this show. AG is sandwiched between the perfection of Sinnoh and the fatigue of Johto. You like, and even without the fatigue of Johto, it's OS. Like, AG is sandwiched between peak of Diamond and Pearl and the nostalgia of the original series. Like, it's crazy. If you really think about it from a perspective of the Ash saga right now, Best Wishes is now the midpoint. Because we have 3 sagas before and 3 sagas after. BW went from being the reboot to Ash's midpoint. That's absolutely crazy. And also because the other sagas, they have a lot of rivals. They have a lot of, like, later sagas, they have a lot of rivals and a lot of, villain plots. AG kinda has one, but don't really go through it all around. Because, the plot changed with Emerald. And they were trying to do Emerald earlier, but without the Emerald elements, because they put Wallace in DP as a champion, even though Ash battles Juan, and Ash meets Steven, they only say Steven is a strong trainer, probably because they were planning for Wallace to be a champion, or for Steven's champion title to be a surprise, but they didn't know what champion to commit to yet, so they repurposed Lance as the strongest Elite Four, because Fire and Elite Green were out. But everything from other shows, their DNA stems from this arc. The rivalries of Diamond and Pearl, the tone of X and Y. X and Y echoes a lot of shit from AG. Like the maturity and the toneness of Sun and Moon, like everything stems from this. Everything stems from this. Like Adventure Generation wasn't really loud, but it was perfect. Like it's when Ash went from childhood character to legacy trainer. Like I feel like people need to realize this in some way, shape, or form. And even like early AG, they were trying to bookend a lot of shit from Johto that Johto didn't. Like releasing Arbok and Weezing for Team Rocket, Misty returning to evolve Togepi and ditching them. Yeah. Even the robot Raikou in the Mauville gym, like poor Raikou doesn't get anything. It's absolutely crazy. Let me see like what are my notes here. Like let me see if I have like more of my notes here to speak about on the behalf of the generation. Oh yeah, like Ash losing to Brawly, and then he meets Drake. Like this is the first time, like it's not the first time Ash battles an Elite Four. That was in Lorelei with the Orange Islands. But again, this is like Ash facing his own inner demons, like his own ego. Like this show had strategy, and the emotion felt earned. Like the Pokemon had amazing character dynamics with each other and with everyone's teams. I don't even know how to even perfectly describe this. Like evolutions felt earned. There were like moments of personal growth, and it gave a world beyond Ash. Not just May doing contests, but side shit like Chronicles. It started here in 2002. Like, man, I just love the Gen 3 is what kinda saved Pokemon. If you really think about it. Like, every era of Pokemon has like a heart to it. For Kanto it was discovery, for Johto it was nostalgia, for Hoenn it feels like growth. Right? And if every show, every era has a heart, for AG it was May. It was May, it wasn't Ash, it was really, her. Like, at least to me. Like, and people give Max a lot of shit. Unfortunately, Max is cool as shit. Like, Max is a 7-year-old who wants to be a trainer, and he acts, bratty about it because he can't. Like, you would do the same if you were 7. You probably did the same if you were 7. Like, telling Ash how to do shit because you knew better. But then the world of the anime works differently, right? And it's like, you say shit about Max, but realistically you would want to be him. Travel with Ash, May, and Brock, you want to be Max. You really, really do. And it's not just the Ralts episode. People remember that because, oh, it's a homage to Wall-E. Max gets a lot of episodes, you know, with Spiel, Shuppet, Shroomish, Mighty Anna. The Jirachi movie is about, like, I feel like it's one thing to point out. The first movie of AG is about Max, the fourth character. You don't do that. That's like a ballsy move. That's like a risk. The first movie of the new Pokemon era, it's about the non-trainer of the group. You don't really do that. You don't. Like, look at the other movies. Mewtwo, Darkrai, Victini, Diancie. Then it was I Choose You. Like, people gotta give this show a try. They really need to give this show a try. I love it a lot. Like, there is a lot of in this show that I really appreciate. It's also because as I was going through school, you know, Kanto Orange Johto, it's infancy. It's you know, kindergarten shit for me. As I was in school, that's when the show started airing, you know, 2002 to 2006. Was my elementary days. It's when I spoke with people about Pokemon. And these were new Pokemon. Yes, we had Game Boys. You know, we played Yellow and Crystal. But then it's like, oh, we get to go to Kanto again. Oh, we have like GameCube titles. What are these spin-offs like Mystery Dungeon and Ranger? And the Battle Frontier embellished the heck out of the anime to the point where people were crying about it by not being in auras. You don't like the Battle Frontier, you like the Frontier Brains. You do not like the Battle Frontier, you like the Frontier Brains. Let's be 100 with this, guys. But it's like, yeah. This is, you know, the hidden gem of the anime. Gen 3 is like the hidden gem of, you know, the franchise, if you really think about it. Great anime, peak manga, the games are all solid, the spin-offs and the side series are all peak, and the trading cards were amazing because it's when you get like the Delta species for, you know, like the Holland things. And they repurpose that for, you know, regional variants, terrestrials, and all of that shit. Like, Gen 4 was what globalized Pokemon in some way because of the Wi-Fi and being the 10th anniversary and all of that. But Gen 3, like, yes, you could not have all of the Pokemon in the first game because they were not really programmed in, but the sprites were allowed. It's like it was like the first Dexit. But people were not boycotting it because they were not really chronically online to, you know, shit on Ruby and Sapphire. Ruby and Sapphire has flaws. Emerald perfected them. I will play Auras over Ruby and Sapphire, but I will play Emerald over both. Like, this is when the show really starts to, you know, like, have a different tone. Again, Ash was being treated as the experienced trainer that he already was. He was not being babied. If anything, he was being, you know, very much challenged. Like, very, very much challenged. And is there anything else that I would wish to say? Like, the Pokemon moves were you know, very impressive. Like, Pikachu gets the Iron Tail and Volt Tackle. Like, do I need to say more? I don't think I really need to say more. I like how the Battle Frontier bookends with two Ice Legendaries, being Articuno and Regice. That's cool. I don't really have anything much else to say. I just love this show. I just love this show. I love Advent Generation. I love Hoenn, and I love the Battle Frontier. And if you do as well, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts about, you know, this review of AG, of, you know, the show itself, right? Leave a comment. Also, make sure to, you know, share the video, like, and subscribe to the channel. More of this will come soon. So I really do appreciate all of your support, trainers. I will see you another time, and take care of yourselves. KuroBlitz out.